Hi, welcome to Simply Sauce with Chef Mel. I'm your host, Chef Mel. Today we're going to show you how to make some amazing Italian dishes. We're starting with Nana's stuffed artichokes. Then we've got my simple and light chicken parmesan, and then we're going to finish it off with a lemon drop cookie. So stay with me and I'll show you how it's done. So we're going to get started with these artichokes. This is an appetizer we call Nana's stuffed artichokes. So you take fresh artichokes and you're going to get them ready by cutting off the stem. Just get rid of that. And the other thing we need to do is these leaves are very pokey, very sharp on the ends. So we're just going to cut those with some meat shears. Just trim those off, just like that. All right, that one's ready. Pretty easy to do. This is an old Italian tradition. It was passed down. My mother makes them frequently, but her Nana, who came over from Sicily, made these probably at least twice a week. So artichokes are a big favorite in our family. Okay. So once you do that, you kind of prep those leaves. You want to get in there and really get these leaves apart. And you'll know if you missed a few because you'll get poked. So you just cut off a few more. Okay. And you know, washed and rinsed, all that good stuff to get them prepared. And so I kind of, if you can see, kind of flay those open a little bit. Now, what we need to do first is steam these. So we're going to drop these in a pot. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and get these going, and then I'll show you how to prepare them. Okay, so while the artichokes are steaming, we're going to go ahead and go into the next dish. So you know when you do recipes, a lot of times you have to buy a lot of ingredients. What I like to do is simplify things. So the ingredients that I'm using for the artichokes, some of those carry over into this other dish I'm going to do. And these recipes are also listed on my website, so that'll be easy for you guys to go to later. So this is going to be a variation on a chicken parmesan. So this is a little bit of a lighter recipe. I've got some chicken cutlets, but you can pretty much use what you want. You can do chicken cutlets, you can do tenderloins, you got it, however you want to do it. What I do is I cut them into some smaller pieces, and you can tenderize it, but with the cutlets, those are pretty thin, so I don't feel like I need to tenderize those. But if you've got some thicker chicken breast, you probably want to beat it up a little bit, because tender chicken's the best. So, we've got this chicken. What we're going to do is we're going to take it and put a little bit of olive oil. Now, I try to measure so I can repeat, or I can tell my friends how to make things, but honestly, I don't like to measure. That must be an Italian thing. Anyway, so I'm going to take some olive oil, some garlic, and that's going to be my dip first. Then I'm going to take some Parmesan cheese, and I love the Italian style breadcrumbs. It's easy. I mean, if you want to make your own, feel free, but again, I like to simplify everything. So this is easy as this is. I'm going to show you the chicken. We're just going to dip it in this olive oil and garlic mixture, and then right into the breading. Okay, cover it well, and then this is my new favorite thing. I used to broil these, put them in the oven. I got an air fryer, and I tell you what, talk about making life even easier, because you don't have to worry about it sticking so much. You don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, is it going to be crispy? Because you want to have a little crispness to this. So we're just going to put these in the air fryer. Now, this dish is going to be served over some spinach. Like I said, this is going to be a variation, but feel free, if you like something to go with that, like make a little angel hair pasta, or make some rigatoni. You can put some sauce on it. You could take some of this olive oil and garlic, maybe squeeze a little lemon in there and do a little olio, and you can pretty much do whatever you want. It's just serve that on the side. Okay, so we're going to put these in. All right, And while those are going, I'll show you as simple as this. I just took fresh baby spinach. I'm gonna place this here, and then when the chicken is done, we're gonna put the chicken right on top, and then we're gonna cover it in this sauce. So my favorite sauce is ChefMel's. That's mine. I started this in St. Louis, and it's a sweet Sicilian style. I learned from my Nana how to make sauce, but she, it was an all-day affair, and I thought, how can I make this easier? So I took a few tips from her, made my own, added a little bit of sugar and red wine, and voila. I took this to work, and my friends went crazy over it. So long story short, it's on the market now. So we're gonna use that sauce, and then we're gonna top this dish with goat cheese. And you can do a variation there too. You can do Asiago, Parmesan, whatever you want. But if you like goat cheese, I highly recommend sticking to the goat cheese recipe, because the flavor of the sauce and the goat cheese are just like a marriage made in heaven. They're perfect. So we're gonna go ahead and prepare the rest of these for the second round. So this is a recipe, I guess this probably started with my Nana, and I'm sure it started with her mom. Unfortunately, I never got to meet my Nana, but I grew up in a very, Irish, Italian, or should I say Italian-Irish family in St. Louis. We could eat and drink with the best of them. My grandfather was Irish. My grandmother, her mother came over on a boat from Palermo. And my grandfather always told my mom and my aunt they were just half a meatball. So we love our Italian food. So we've done this. My Nana did this for this chicken. And again, I just varied it to do the spinach. I think part of that was a healthier option, but hey, if you love your pasta, you love your pasta. There's also variations on that too. I mean, you can do like a spaghetti squash instead of the pasta. There's all kinds of things you can do. The sauce in a jar is hard to find. A good one is. So of course I'm going to tell you that this is a great one. But that was my story. I mean, I couldn't find one that I liked. And I wanted to simplify things because that's kind of my thing. And I couldn't sit and make sauce all day long like she did, like my grandmother I'm referring to. So I simplified it and came up with this, and now I'd like to share that with everybody. So if you want something simple, you can totally find a good sauce like this. If you want to make your own, you can do that too. Okay, so now we're going to do those artichokes. We've steamed them, and I'm going to take them out of here, and I'll show you. They move a lot easier now. And to check it, I just pretty much took a knife. What did I do with my knife? Here's my knife. So I just check it on the bottom. And if that knife goes through real nice and smooth like that, these are ready, okay? So I'm gonna take these now, and I'm gonna put these in a dish here. Oh, that's perfect size. Okay, so this is how we prepare these. Well, we prepare them. Now we're gonna stuff them. Butter and olive oil. And we're gonna mix those up a little bit. These were portioned out, even though I don't like to portion, but that's all right. Here's the garlic. So again, this recipe is on my website, but olive oil, garlic, and butter. That's the wet ingredients, okay? And then we're gonna do the dry ingredients, because we're actually gonna put those in there first. So we're gonna take some breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese. Notice the similarity, that's what we use with the chicken. So I like having the carryover ingredients for this meal. All right, so we're gonna spread these leaves open, kind of all over. We're gonna just rain the Parmesan cheese and breadcrumbs inside. It's okay if you drop some, not a big deal. You don't have to be super neat with this stuff, because when these are baking, you're actually gonna take a baster, and you can go in and kind of baste these every 5 minutes or so. Makes them even better. So if you've got butter and olive oil and garlic and all this good stuff at the bottom of the dish, not a big deal. It's all gonna go back up in there anyway. All right, we'll just do a little bit more Because basically what we're doing is we're covering and stuffing this artichoke because the leaves have the meat of the artichoke on them. And so the way you eat these, if you haven't already, is you simply pull off a leaf, which we're not going to do now until they're baked, but you pull off a leaf and you just skin it with your teeth and you get all the goodness. Okay, so I'm going to take this mixture now that I've made. We're just going to pour that in. And if you could just smell this garlic. Fresh garlic's better. I mean, you can simplify that too. I use minced garlic. I use garlic paste. I just kind of use whatever I feel like. Today, we chopped up some fresh garlic and you can really smell it. Okay, let's just dump the rest of it on there. That works. Okay, so then we're gonna put these in the oven. We're gonna bake these at 350 for about 30 minutes. So get them going. After 5 to 10 minutes, you can go in, you can baste, kind of go over it a little bit more. Actually, we could go ahead and add a little bit more here so there's some on the bottom to baste with. Because then once you're done with all of these leaves, you can't forget about the artichoke heart that's at the bottom. That was my Nana and I's favorite. Everybody would just devour these leaves, and then we would go and take the artichoke heart and then we'd split it up and dip it in all that butter and goodness, and oh, it was the best. Great memories of her. One of them, one of many. Okay, so while we're cooking the chicken, we've put the artichokes in the oven. Now's the time we're gonna do the cookies. Now, admittedly, I'm not usually a baker. I don't like to follow recipes very much. I like to use them as a guideline. But I do like this recipe a lot because lemons, big Italian treat, right? Anything lemon. So I picked a lemon drop cookie, which is actually really simple and really good. It's kind of a little scone-ish. It's a good one. So we're going to, I have to follow this. We're going to take the butter and the sugar, which is here. Of course, I've just have everything pre-measured. Then we're just gonna go ahead and get that going first, okay? So about a minute it says. Okay, so next we're gonna add the egg. Looking good. The first time I made these, I didn't pay attention to the recipe and they didn't turn out quite as good. So you do definitely have to pay attention to recipes when you're baking. But this is a pretty easy one. All right. So now we're gonna add the lemon juice and the lemon zest. Again, these recipes are on the website. You can follow along, you can look at that recipe, you can print it out, make it easy on yourself. So I've got the liquids in there. Now we're gonna start adding a little bit of flour. I'll add a little bit more, but while I'm at it, I'm gonna add the salt, the baking powder, and just slowly incorporate. It says a few other words on the recipe, but basically slowly incorporate. And as I'm about halfway through, because you know I like to make up my own rules as I go, I'm gonna add the milk. My mother would say, stick to the recipe, but it usually ends up turning out all right anyway. Okay. We're gonna let that go for a minute or so. Oh, let's get this last little bit of flour. So we're gonna mix this until it's like a sticky cake batter. And we're gonna scrape the sides here a moment. Easy enough. All right, I think that'll do it. Does that look like a sticky cake batter? I think so. So we're just gonna take this now and we're gonna, I like to use the ice cream scoop. You can do whatever you like, whatever you feel comfortable with. You know, the old, I say old, should be careful with my words, but the old-fashioned way of making cookies is my mom always used 2 spoons. You know that little trick? All right, but I like this. So we're gonna take and scoop. And let me put this over here, make it a little easier. So we're just gonna scoop the cookie dough. The way these end up, they almost look a little biscuity, which I like that because they kind of remind me of a little scone. And then the best part is not only do they have a nice little lemon flavor, it's kind of mild, but then when we make the icing to go on top, that's where you get the boom of the lemon. And I don't know about you, but I love lemon. It's so refreshing. And what a great way to end this meal. You've got the stuffed artichokes. You can have as much as you want, as little as you want. You move on to the chicken. Then you can have the cookies. So you've got a nice assortment of food. I already have the oven on for the artichokes. I'm gonna pop this in. Same baking for 350. And the baking on this is about 11 to 13 minutes, and it's actually 375, so I'll kick it up. But if you cook a lot like I do, you just kind of know when they're done. And if you don't cook a lot, then what you'll do is you'll make sure that you cook them just slightly longer at 350. So you're gonna push that, you know, where it says 11 to 13 minutes, you're gonna go closer to the 13-minute side because the oven's on 350. I've been often accused of, hey, you know how to cook and you know what it looks like, and not everybody does. So I'm trying to help you guys out. For those of you that don't cook as often and that need to follow a recipe, nothing wrong with that. It's not everybody's forte, but if you follow these recipes that are on the site, you'll be delighted with this meal. You can do it all within an hour or less, prep and cooking time. And then you've got a nice Italian meal to serve. All right, we're gonna pop these in, and then we're going to make the glaze. All right, this is really easy too. Did I mention that I like to simplify things? Did I mention I like easy recipes? I do. So, I've already got the powdered sugar mixed up. I'm going in this one's real easy because you don't have to cream anything, butter anything. You just put all of your ingredients in the same bowl. That butter, melted butter. Make sure I get every last bit of that in there. I'm going to mix this up. And because I like lemons so much, I brought a little extra. You don't want to put a lot of extra in, and you want to just do it, incorporate it slowly so that you don't make this, you don't want to make this too runny. All right, so now I've got all that incorporated, I can actually mix it better. And if you see that, when those cookies come out, and we have them cool for a little bit, you're gonna scoop this out with a spoon, and you're just gonna drop about a spoonful on each cookie and then let it set, and they're delicious. Okay, so now we're ready to plate up the chicken. So we got the chicken out of the air fryer. Easy, we're just gonna take this and just place it around the spinach any way you like. Then I heated up the sauce, so it's not real hot, but it's warm. You just want to kind of cover it, but don't drench it. You can always go back for more. And then just kind of drizzle a little bit so some is on the spinach. And then the great thing to put on top is this goat cheese. Now I freeze my goat cheese when I'm getting ready to do this dish because it's so soft, it gets a little bit mushy. It's okay for it to be a little bit soft once you put it on the plate, but when you're trying to crumble it, I don't like when it's mushy. So I like to be able to crumble it like this. And you'll have some bigger pieces, some smaller pieces, and that's all right. So let's start out just making it look pretty. Oh, that looks really nice, doesn't it? And it tastes as good as it looks. There you go. Okay, so now we've got the stuffed artichoke, and for those of you that haven't had it, I'm going to show you how to eat it. So you just take a leaf and you pull it out, and what this has is the meat of the artichoke and then all of this good olive oil, butter, garlic, you know, all the stuff we stuffed it with. And you just take it like this, clean it with your teeth. Very good. It's very rich. Good combination, this and that. And then for dessert, we've got those cookies. So I plated up a few just to show you. See our little cookies here? And here is that icing. Once those cookies are cooled, you pour a little icing on top. You can never have too much icing, in my opinion. And that's it. Burst of lemon, great way to finish off the whole entire meal. Thanks for tuning in today for the stuffed artichokes, the simple and light chicken parmesan, and those lemon drop cookies. It was a pleasure. My name is Chef Mel. I own ChefMel Sauces. We're based out of St. Louis. You can follow me on Instagram at ChefMelSTL. I'm also on Facebook, and you can also go to the website, which is chefmelsauces.com. Thanks again. Mangia bene.